Now we're going to learn how to create a histogram. So one of the most important things to keep in mind is that when you're determining your intervals or your range of values that you're going to group together, you have to have the same number of data values in each interval. And I don't mean that your tally should be the same. For example, when we're looking at our battery life, if you look through the list, we've got our smallest data value in either list is 8, and our largest data value is 25. So we couldn't, for example, say we're going to put 8, 9, and 10 grouped together, and then I'm going to group, which is 3 data values, and then I'm going to group 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, which is 5 data values together. You have to keep 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And that's exactly how I'm going to break up my data. And because we're creating a comparison histogram, we have to have the same intervals for each brand. So even though I don't have a data value as low as 8 in my brand 1, I still need to include that in the interval, because all of the intervals need to have exactly the same number of data values. And same data values, or same intervals for my other brand. All right, and then we are going to tally up the data values for each brand. So in brand 1, number of data values between 8 and 10 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number of data values between 11 and 13, 1, 2. Data values 14 to 16, 1, 2. Data values 17 to 19, we don't have any. Sorry, I missed the 18. Data values 20 to 22, we have 2. And we have no data values from 23 to 25. So for brand 2, same thing. Data values 8 to 10, 1, 2. Data values 11 to 13, 1, 2, 3. Data values 14 to 16, 1, 2, 3, 4. Data values 17 to 19, 1, 2. 20 to 22, we don't have any. And 23 to 25, we just have the 1. All right, so once you have, those are your frequency tables. You split them into non-overlapping, equal-sized intervals. So notice I don't have the data value of 10 in 2 different categories, like I mentioned on that first video. You've got to make sure that you split them so you know exactly where each data value goes. All right, so then to create your comparison histogram, your intervals are going to go along the bottom. So I've got that labeled with my hours, and the frequency will go along the side. So in order to kind of save space, I'm going to create my histogram so that I just do my left endpoint, like those last 2 histograms we saw. So my first left endpoint was 8, and I need about 6, and then it was 11. All right, and then frequency, the highest frequency I think was 5. Yep, so I need to go up to 5 on my y-axis. All right, so my red bars are going to represent my brand 1, and I need to leave, I'm only going to take up half the space because the other half will be for my brand 2. So my first bar from 8 to 10 went up to 5. And then from 11 to 13, I went up to 2. Actually, I might want to make that one. And it's really important to keep the bars the same width, because otherwise the skinny bars will look like they have less data than the fatter bars. 17 to 19, I had 1. 20 to 22, I had 2. And then I have no bar for 23 to 25 for my brand 1. All right, so for brand 2, 8 to 10, I have 2. 11 to 13, I had 3. Sorry about the bell, I knew that one was coming. 14 to 16, I had 4. 17 to 19, we had 2. And then 23 to 25, we had 1. So what might be helpful for your person reading is to kind of shade them in so you can clearly see which bar is which. So I would shade these in, but to save a little time, make that key so whoever's reading your histogram knows what exactly they're looking at. Brand 1 would be my red bars, brand 2 are my blue bars. So now to compare the shapes of the histogram, what's going to be a little bit challenging is that you have to try and just look at those red bars and then just look at the blue bars to kind of compare the 2 different data sets. So looking at the red bars, my highest bar is at the lower end, and then they're kind of uniform after that. Most of them have 2 data values except for that one from 17 to 19. For my blue, it's kind of a normal. You got the high bar in the middle and then smaller on the outside. So if you were going to recommend a battery, I would recommend brand 2 because it looks like a more normal curve and you've got the higher bar in the middle versus on the low end. So I would say brand 1 has more, or actually I would say brand 1 has less battery life. In general. And brand 2 is a more normal curve or distribution. So I recommend brand 2 for higher battery life. All right, and that is it. There's no you try on this video. You will be trying this on your project in class, and it takes quite a bit of time. So especially if you have any questions on what exactly is going on with these histograms, come to class with those.